need our friends to hold our chuppah. Beautiful thing. Before we start today, I'd like us to just bow our heads just for a few seconds in memory of those family and friends like Aunt Mildred who couldn't be here today with us. Those we love never really leave. They're always with us, and we know they're here with us today celebrating and sharing our joy. My name is Joe Hobbit. I will be officiating clearly today, otherwise someone would have tackled me already and drag me away from here. Marriage is what... Alright, I didn't know if I was going to get away with that. Alright, actually though, not love, true love, but love is what brings us here today. And love that Matt and Alyssa feel for one another, and the love that we, as their family and friends, have always felt for them as individuals. But after today, we'll feel a little differently. We'll be feeling for them as a new family, as the unit and the single entity that they are. We will go home tonight loving them as that new family. And after this ceremony, in the eyes of the law and society, they will no longer be two, but one. They'll be joined by their willing and legal commitment to each other. In truth, though, as we talked, I think they felt, as I did, that they became a family the moment that they committed in their hearts to one another and saw one another as the soulmates that were out there and they are fortunate enough to have found, because not many people are that lucky. And those here that are that lucky should go home today with a greater appreciation for it. I am one of those people, and I thank my higher power every day. In truth, so if they were already committed, is this just a formality in a sense? The wedding just good for caterers and florists and such, guys like me? No, they're not. That was a rhetorical question. Get used to that. We're going to be We have a wedding because it's an integrally important part of that commitment is that it's shared with the community and that it's recognized and acknowledged by the community and those we love, whatever your beliefs are. So thank goodness, because it's a happy day when those we love affirm their love for each other and we get to reaffirm and renew ours for them as a lovely new family. There are many kinds of love in the world. I'm going to leave a few out because we want to get to eat in about 12 minutes. But romantic love. Can everyone hear me back there? Are we doing all right? Yes. Unless you guys would like to go sit down, I can. Who does bring this bride to be given in marriage today, may I ask? Her beautiful parents. We'll take her. She'd like to sit down and marry. That was very nice of you. So but just briefly, romantic love is only one of those kinds of loves. The love of a parent for child is another. The reciprocal love that we feel for our parents. And family bonds, of course, can be among the deepest bonds we develop. During times when even parents may find they're sorely tested to practice tolerance, anyone remember the generation gap? We often depend on siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles to keep the lines of love and familial communication open. My cousins have been very important in my life. And a moving example of this, which I like to share, is the story of Vincent van Gogh and his brother Theo, who provided the material support that allowed some of the greatest art in history to be made. In one letter Vincent wrote to his brother Theo, he said, "There may be a great fire in our soul, and no one ever comes to warm himself at it. The passers-by see only a little wisp of smoke coming through the chimney and pass on their way. Now look you, what must be done? Must we wait, or must we, having faith in ourselves, tend that fire, hoping that the right person comes along to share it?" That's a rhetorical question again, by the way. The answer is yes. We must tend that inward fire and wait, hoping for the right person to share it. And today we're here to rejoice that Matt and Alyssa saw each other's smoke No easy feat in a world crowded with so many chimneys. And we are here to celebrate that today they begin a lifetime of warming themselves at one another's hearth and hearth. By the way, we should mention how you guys met. I was asked to mention that briefly, and how we met, which was by creative endeavor. And that's a very important thing. And it's another reason I mentioned the Van Gogh brothers, because a key responsibility, we take upon ourselves when we commit to love each other unconditionally, as we do in the sacrament of marriage, is that it's our responsibility to do everything we can to help our partner realize their dreams. And that's not just dishes, not just vacuuming, stuff like that. It's a very important factor. Even as we form our new dreams together as a couple, I repeat and rephrase, our solemn responsibility of each partner in marriage is to support each other in realizing dreams and in the endeavor to become the very best person they can, which means the happiest. And when people who are involved are both vital, creative individuals like Matt and Alyssa, I think that's possibly even more important. Creative endeavor, we met waiting for a boat to go to a gig that never happened. They were wearing intergalactic pirate regalia. We spent a delightful 3.5 hours waiting for a boat to take us out to a solar-powered floating stage. They with their popular band and me with me. I have to tell you, the boat held 3 passengers. It took about 20 minutes for each round trip, and there were like 30 people there. So I waited for, maybe 6 departures, and then I called my partner, Mallory, who's waiting over there, and said, Mal, please come and get me. I'm going to be here till like midnight. I'm hungry. And she came and got me. But no matter, clearly the important bit, as far as the universe was concerned that day, was not that I got to rock out solo on a solar-powered stage. No, the universe was 100% focused on getting Matt and Alyssa enough quality time alone so that 5 or so years later, we could come here together and chase the nigh unreachable star, that grail of ideas, getting married the way I really want to. Friends, this is a first for me. I've never seen anyone do it before, and you can't clap because this is not only unbelievable and marvelous, it's unrehearsed. I'm going to fly past some of this. This is really funny stuff here. You're welcome to read it on your own later. But the relevant part is this. All the major religions have very, very similar stories in the research. It's kind of funny. And they all have a big wedding feast miracle story. And if you know this, everybody, trust me. And so Buddha, who's probably the most non-sectarian, least offensive guy I can kick out at a wedding, he goes to a wedding, and, wow, what happens? Suddenly the food and the drink don't run out. But there's like a little different twist, which the guy is like, wow, this is cool. I'm going to call all my other friends. So now he calls all the people he wanted at the feast, and they all came. As far as I can see, that inducement was not necessary here, because people came from everywhere, based strictly on love and not on an endless supply of food, which will be coming momentarily. However, the best part of that story is that Buddha said this: the greatest happiness that mortal man can imagine is the bond of marriage that ties together 2 loving hearts. But there's a greater happiness still, it's the embrace of truth. Therefore, be married unto the truth, and live with the truth in holy wedlock. The husband who loves his wife and desires for a union that shall be everlasting must be faithful to her, so as to be like truth itself. And she will rely upon him and revere him, or revere him, however you pronounce that, and minister unto him. And the wife who loves her husband and desires a union that shall be everlasting must be faithful to him, so as to be like truth itself. And he will place his trust in her. He will provide for her. And he should also revere her, because this is 2014. But they will continue to live in the truth. And if you continue to live in the truth, you will partake of the life everlasting. The life is is immortal. And so I also want to mention why we break the glass. Who has the glass? The glass? All right, very good. We break the glass and shout Mazel Tov to honor tradition and history. does symbolize the destruction and the rebuilding of the temple, but in the modern age, many choose to focus on the symbolism of a joyful reunion. Before you were born, you and your soulmate were one, a single soul. Then as your time to enter this world approached, that single soul was shattered into two parts, one male and one female. These two half-souls were then born into the world with the mission to try to find each other and reunite. It is under the chuppah above us, which your friends are holding up, the wedding canopy, that the two halves are reunited, never to part again. You can now look back at the painful experience of being separated and celebrate it, as it's clear that the separation brought you closer than you would otherwise have been. Ironically, it was only by being torn apart and living lives away from one another that you were able to develop as individuals, to mature and grow, so that your coming together now is something you had to achieve and choose, and therefore be appreciated deeply. The joyous reunion at this wedding is clear your soul was always split in order to have you guys come back together and be one on a high level. Who has the rings? Mike, how you doing? Would you give that ring, please, to my friend Matt here? All right. Our vows are going to be very simple today. Matt, thank you very much. Yeah, you do me too. It's an excellent thing. Our vows are simple. Do you promise, Matt, to be truthful and faithful unto death with your wife, Alyssa? Alyssa, do you promise to be truthful and faithful unto death to your husband, Matt? That you are going to have the best life ever. Matt, you can put the ring on Alyssa's finger. This happens a lot at home. The question without the answer. I blew the ring thing at the last wedding. I'm just going to put it out there. But I remembered. So beautiful. And now, Alyssa, would you give Matt his ring, symbolizing the fact that just as a ring is endless, so is your union. Does anyone have a reason why this couple should not be legally joined, and it better be a darn good one? I didn't think so. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, by the power vested in me, by the Universal Life Church, the Church of the Subgenius, and in accordance with the bylaws of the great state of New Jersey, I forget anything? I am pleased as punch to pronounce you woman and husband, man and wife. You may And the glass, please. We need a glass. There it goes. Of course, the exit of our lovely bridal party for our libations. You guys did awesome work. Okay, yeah, I'll figure out you know, boilerplate, that's what I need.